Mike, last time we spoke about the end of time, but today we're talking about how to track time.
Are we going to be getting into the world of watches? Oh, wait, are we going to talk about my favorite topic, time tracking?
That's the wrong podcast.
I mean, I can bring it to any podcast. That's not stopped me before.
I mean, I'm running my Ungenius timer right now.
So if we're not going to be doing time tracking today, which is genuinely sad now, I'm like upset about it, are we going to be talking about something weird instead?
Yes. Today we are learning about the clock of the long now.
You sure you said that right? Is that right?
That is right.
I don't know, but it's not the best English.
But it should be like the clock of the long now, which is...
Does the long now as a phrase make sense to you?
We're going to get to that. Hold your horses. Let me explain what the clock is first.
My horses are gone.
Your horse is gone. It left. This is a mechanical clock designed to keep time for 10,000 years.
This is a very long time from now, 10,000 years. And you may have heard of this by its other name, its better name, the 10,000 year clock.
Way better name. And that's what I knew this as until we started looking into it. The Long Now name comes from the Long Now Foundation, which is building this clock thanks to a cool $42 million investment by Jeff Bezos. We're also going to come back to him.
Guarantee you, nobody thought that Jeff Bezos was going to be entering this conversation.
He's here. He just popped through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man.
There he is. One-day delivery. The project was originally conceived by American inventor Danny Hillis back in 1986. He was quoted in 1995 as saying, "I want to build a clock that ticks once a year. The century hand advances once every 100 years, and the cuckoo comes out on the millennium. I want the cuckoo to come out every millennium for the next 10,000 years. If I hurry, I should finish the clock in time to see the cuckoo come out for the first time."
I will say this is very much my kind of art in that it's a normal everyday thing, right? Like I can see two things that keep time from where I'm sitting. But the art of it is, what if we took the thing and like changed it fundamentally? Like it still keeps time, but it keeps time on a scale that doesn't make any sense to an individual. I don't know. I really like it.
I would not have guessed this of you specifically, that you would consider this an art project that you enjoyed.
I think it's a science project, but there's some art to it, I think.
Oh, no, there is. I don't know if I would have pegged you as like, this is a project Stephen would be appreciating. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to build a clock that lasts the episode length of Ungenius.
That is a quick clock, my friend. It's not.
But really, it's just an MP3. So.
Yeah, you've effectively built a stopwatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like an egg timer or something.
Yeah. Well, good news.
Okay.
Hillis made that goal with the first prototype springing to life on December 31st, 1999. Really cut it close.
Oh, are you kidding me?
That's what the article said.
He couldn't have done it a day early. Like, did he really? Like, really could not finish it until the day before he needed it?
I don't know. Maybe it was ready, but like he didn't turn it on till the day.
We've all been there, right? We've all been there.
Right.
Like, this is like running to a door at college and throwing your term paper through a mailbox, right? Like, that's what he did.
Or editing your podcast 1 hour before it's supposed to be published.
Correct.
Theoretically.
Anyways,
he made the goal just in time to see the transition to the year 2000. We've talked about Y2K. This is the funniest version of Y2K I think I can think of. At midnight on New Year's Eve, the date indicator changed from 01999 to 02000, and the chime struck twice. No cuckoo. I guess he didn't get that part done, but still a win.
There are now 3 or so working prototypes. One is on display at the Science Museum in London, with 2 more residing in San Francisco.
There are obviously a lot of things to consider when building a project like this, but the Long Now Foundation has listed 5 primary principles.
Number 1 is longevity. The clock should be accurate even after 10,000 years and must not contain valuable parts such as jewels, expensive metals, or special alloys that could be looted.
Number 2 is maintainability. Future generations should be able to keep the clock working, and if necessary, with nothing more advanced than Bronze Age tools and materials.
Transparency. The clock should be understandable without stopping or disassembling it. No functionality should be opaque.
Number 4 is evolvability. It should be possible to improve the clock over time.
And then finally, scalability. To ensure the final large clock will work properly, smaller prototypes must be built and tested.
These principles shape many components of the project, including how it is to be powered. For example, I would think, well, what about nuclear power? It lasts a long time. What about solar power? Well, those violate the principles of transparency and longevity, so they can't be used.
So to power the clock, Hillis decided to require regular human winding of a falling weight to keep the clock operating. But it can keep time without being wound manually for a while, capturing energy based on temperature swings at the clock's final site.
To keep the clock accurate over long periods of time, it is designed to be reset at noon each day by the sun. Years are to be displayed with a leading zero, like I read earlier, such as 02023, the year that we're in now, to avoid Y10K problems, which was not something I was aware of, but future generations will have to deal with.
I don't think you need to worry about it. Like, we're good.
I'm not going to be around that long.
Yeah.
A display showing the location of stars and describing the angle and phase of the moon at a given time will help future generations ensure the clock has remained accurate, even if all knowledge that we currently possess passes away.
Anyway, we've arrived at the weird part.
Oh,
Designing
here we are.
anything, here we are, for the far future gets kind of strange. You can go and check out our episode on long-term nuclear waste warning messages if you want to hear about some examples of this, but we also have some more weird after this break.
This episode of Ungeniused is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. With Squarespace, you can stand out with a beautiful website, you can engage with your audience, and you can sell anything, products, services, even the content that you're creating. Squarespace has everything you need all in one place. Mike, say that you are building some sort of large structure that's going to last thousands of years. Maybe not a clock, maybe like a giant keyboard, and you need to take lots of pictures and videos so people can support the project. Maybe you're going to sell t-shirts. You want to send out email updates. You can do all of that with Squarespace. Their store is ready for physical or digital products, and they have a bunch of really cool and seamless checkout options. So you can accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay. And you can even do the buy now, pay later thing with Afterpay and ClearPay. So you can get those t-shirts out to your followers. Email campaigns will encourage visitors to sign up as subscribers. And the email template is customizable, so you can make it look like your brand with your colors and logo and everything else. Plus, the built-in analytics across the website and the email campaigns all work together, so you know how things are going. I love building on top of Squarespace because all this stuff is in one place. So no matter what your project is or how weird it is, you should get started with Squarespace by going to squarespace.com/ungeniused for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/ungeniused, and the code UNGENIUS will get you 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's the code UNGENIUS at checkout. You want to go to squarespace.com/ungeniused, 10% off your first purchase, and to show your support for this show.
The Long Now Foundation has purchased land at the top of Mount Washington near Ely, Nevada, for the permanent storage of the full-sized clock. The site is surrounded by Great Basin National Park and was chosen for its dry weather and remote location. Once complete, the clock will be almost completely underground and accessible only by foot.
That project is still a ways off, but in 2009, work began near Van Horn, Texas on a full-scale prototype. The foundation's work there is being funded by that Jeff Bezos gift we mentioned earlier, and the property is actually owned by the Amazon founder. The idea is that lessons learned during this project will inform the final design for the Nevada site, but there's not even a completion date for the Texas project, so this is all still a ways in the future.
I want to talk a little bit about the Long Now Foundation. It's a nonprofit. It was established in 1996 to, quote, encourage imagination at the time scale of civilization, the next and last 10,000 years, a time span we call, wait for it, the Long Now.
The Long Now.
Still don't understand how they get to that, but
it's kind of cool, though. It's a little metal.
Okay.
The group aims to be a counterpoint, pushing back against our faster and cheaper mindset of modern society with slow and better thinking designed to help us, quote, be better ancestors while preserving possibilities for the future.
As mind-bending as some of this truly is, I do like the message of long-term responsibility. That is important.
Yeah, it is. And the 10,000-year clock isn't the Foundation's only work. They also run something called the Rosetta Project, which is a global collaboration between language scientists and native speakers working to develop what is a contemporary version of the historic Rosetta Stone. The goal is to preserve and study some 1,500 distinct languages, many of which are rapidly dying out.
Turns out that 50 to 90% of the world's languages are predicted to disappear in the next century, many with little or no significant documentation.
That's wild, and also it makes me very sad.
It is sad.
Yeah.
Then there is the Long Bet Project to propose and keep track of bets on long-term events and stimulate discussion about the future. One example bet would be on whether people will regularly fly on pilotless aircraft by 2030.
I think they may miss that one.
I think we should miss that one.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a good idea. There are a number of other projects sponsored or run by the Long Now Foundation. We've got their website in the show notes this week for you to check out. I'm going to say that my expectation is the 10,000-year clock is their marketing thing. It's what people know them for, and then they're able to use that attention to put onto other projects.
I think that's probably right. Our thanks to Josh and many others who have sent this in over the years. This is one of those topics.
Over 10,000 years, people have been sending this to us.
Yes.
The cuckoo chimed and Stephen picked it. That's how it worked.
Well, we did just roll over to episode 201. It's a new number.
New millennium.
If you want to read more about the Clock of the Long Now or the Long Now Foundation or these other projects, check out the links in your podcast player. You can also see them on the web at relay.fm/ungeniused/201. You can also become a member and support Ungenius directly and get a bunch of really cool stuff over at Relay FM. We're actually running a sale on annual memberships right now. Go to giverelay.com and you can get 20% off your first year. Mike, until next time we bury a watch in the desert, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.